this survival Minecraft server, we have built a lot of cool things and done a lot of cool challenges, which is why in this video, we are going to build a house. We built this rock over here at the very beginning of the server over a year ago. I love it and it's been great ever since. But I am quickly running out of room. Not in this part of the house, but through the secret door is our storage room. And the more time that goes on, the more chaotic these chests get. It also doesn't help that other people like to go through my stuff and leave random things in barrels. Anyways, the house that we're gonna be building today will solve all my storage needs. This project can be broken down into about 3 steps. First, gathering materials. Second is actually building the house. And third is moving in. Thankfully, in terms of resource gathering, we shouldn't need a whole lot, because I have already spent a whole lot of time mining a whole bunch of wood, along with other basic resources. One thing I do not have, however, are pitcher pods and torch flowers. To get those, we obviously need to go find a sniffer. After a bit of exploring, I see... oh, I don't know what it's called. Water temple thingy. And if we use a brush, we can find some suspicious sand and hopefully a sniffer egg. Oh, there we go. Here's some. We got a pottery sherd. Well, unless I missed some pieces, there weren't any in this ruin. Hopefully there's another one close by. Just like that, we found another one. And here's our third one to try out. Oh, we got one. First try, yeah, we don't talk about the other ones. Let's go home. If we run over this way, I made a nice path all the way down to a sniffer pen, where we got our sniffer chilling in here. I just built this today and I did record it, but pro tip, if you're recording yourself build something, make sure your microphone is plugged in. Anyways, we just gotta wait for this guy to grow up, and then he'll start sniffing up some seeds for us. And I'm just about getting ready to start building this. We got most of the over 10,000 blocks that we're gonna need to build this. This place is gonna look very different after this house is built. It's going to take up a lot of this space, which means after the house is built, we're gonna have a lot of terraforming to do. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. Alright, so I started building using the Lightmatica mod, which if you don't know is kinda like a blueprint visually displayed on the screen. And I don't know if I'm the only person, but this mob just doesn't help me very much. It kinda makes it more inconvenient. So I might revert just to using screenshots of my build design in my creative world. And instead of just building this block by block, I think I'm gonna make a spaghetti noodle outline. So then I can fill it in and it might make building this easier. So I went ahead and made a basic layout so you can get an idea of what this house is going to look like. Or as of right now, you can at least tell how big it's going to be. Because if we fly up, you can see that it takes up a whole lot of space. So right here, and that door over there are both going to be main entrances to the storage room, which will make up a majority of the ground floor. And then there will be a second floor that I don't really know what I'm going to do with yet. And right here on this big oak platform, we are going to move our diamond beacon onto it. Because this beacon definitely needs a home, so it can live with me. We can go ahead and fix up this porch a little bit. Add some lectern railings. Even though they look kind of weird on this side, the bookshelf part is going to be covered up by the diamond blocks. And it looks really good from this angle. And so I'm going to go ahead, tear down this beacon, and move it over to the porch. This is a lot of diamonds. And now I gotta rebuild the whole thing up here. beautiful. Alright, I think I'm gonna go ahead and work on this main section right here that's gonna be built out of this dark oak and this mangrove log. I'll get started on that now. It's not going to look plain and boring like this when it's done, because we still have a lot of bits that will stick out of the roof and the walls. Speaking of roof, that's the next part I'm gonna build. And the design I came up with for this is kind of cool. It's gonna be using note blocks and redstone lamps and terracotta. It's a weird gradient, so let me just show you. I just realized that I built this roof wrong.
Bruh.
It's like 1 or 2 blocks off. I don't know how I messed this up. There's supposed to be 3 blocks in between each one of these divider walls. But this last one, there's 4 blocks. So I probably need a restart. That's unfortunate. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'll fix that later. And I'm back. And I fixed the roof. I went ahead and moved the roof over 1 block. And now it's actually starting to look like a house, instead of just a bunch of block spam. I put a lot of work into designing this house. I don't want it to look bad, but I don't think it's going to. This side of the house is far from finished, but I think I want to focus on this side for right now, because it's actually a lot to build, and I need to focus on sections instead of the whole thing as a whole. So I'm gonna continue working over here. But first, do you notice anything different? Specifically about the way I look? Probably not. So I'll give you a hint. I redesigned my skin a little bit, and now it looks a lot more polished, a lot more cartoony, but I think I like it better this way. But anyways, back to building. And now this half of the build is done. Since the last recording, I built this canopy thingy over the beacon, and I put the walls up right here. And as I said before, this is going to lead straight into our storage room. Next, I have to finish this side, along with over here. This half of the house shouldn't be too hard, because all I have to do is do a little spin and it's all done. The roof is the same exact design as the other side, and we brought back the balcony over here, using these lecterns again. Before we go ahead and finish up with this side of the house, I want to build a nice big tree right here. And now we have a nice big tree in front of our house. Having netherrack as the trunk and having a gradient through the leaves to the very top makes it look pretty nice. I also have a surprise for you, because not just a tree, but this side of the house has also been built. There's a lot less structure to it, but I added this nice balcony greenhouse thingy. Yep, I have no idea what this is, but it's a nice balcony with grass and trees. I don't know if I've mentioned, but I don't know how much of this house is actually going to be useful. Other than the main storage room, I don't really have a point for like the upstairs and stuff. So maybe if you have ideas of what I can put in my house, you can let me know. And while you're typing down there, you can subscribe too. But before we go ahead and make the inside to this place, there's one more part that we have to work on outside. And that is going to be right here. Not in the sky. Rather, we're gonna have a bridge connecting up to part of the house over here, where I'm gonna have a few small buildings connected to it. Again, I don't know why, it just looks cool. Alright, I think I need to start by marking this out with dirt, just to give me something to build off of. Then I'm gonna make a little gradient as I do. Same gradient I used over on this building. This gives it a very earthy feel. And I don't build with logs very much. It's kind of fun, and it looks nice too. I don't know if you can hear it, but if I turn my volume up, yeah, do you hear that? All my villagers from the beginning of this server are under my house. Definitely need to take care of that, because I can't stand listening to that every day. Just gonna copy this right over on the other side to make it walkable. And this is the part where we run into the issue, where this is clearly gonna bump into this house, or at least cover up my beautiful ladder. So a lot of the area around here I might need to change, including this building. But I'll figure that out as I go. So next I'm going to start working on this roof. It seems kinda complicated, but all I'm actually doing is just alternating between stairs and slabs. And it comes out with a nice effect. It looks really boring without it, so let's add some windows. Now I wanted to use the torch flower to put on these moss blocks, but our sniffer is taking its time. So we can get creative and maybe use some of the new open eye blossoms. Maybe just one on each side though. I might even try, don't know what the interior is yet, so I might have to change this later. But if I put some water right there, replace this moss with a block of dirt, hoe it, then add a carrot. I may have gotten a little carried away. I was just building, you know, the bridge, and I just kept placing blocks and I didn't stop. So the exterior of this house is technically done. As you can see, I made the buildings that the bridge connects to. They're just two really small, colorful buildings. And obviously this pink one is a whole lot like these other ones that we already had going on for us. Along with this little section, I also finished this path, which I think is really immersive. And it even connects up to the nether portal. I also made this ladder straightened so that we can have the little alleyway to our unbreaking villager. So now it's time to finally fix our storage problem by building the interior and probably tripling the amount of chests we have in this rock. Let's get straight into building. Let's start out by making a small divider room. Using quartz as our trim, and a light blue terracotta for the walls. And then we'll go ahead and use our new pale oak blocks as the ceiling. Don't forget to light up dark spaces as you go. And here we have our first room. Very undecorated, so let's get started on that. The entire world around me is very nature focused, so I'm gonna bring a little bit of that into this house with this moss carpet. Alright, over in this little area, I want to build a couch. And now we can sit in it. We'll go with this painting, and leaves with resin on it kinda looks like berries. So now we have this area done. Let's work on over here, which is a bit different. These shulker boxes started out organized, but now it's just a big mess. I will be very happy when we move into our new system. And here we go. I built a tree in my house. Like I said, this is the welcoming area, so I wanted it to feel naturey, just like outside. And the blue and the white complement each other well, and the nature it just feels nice in here. That being said, this big area is gonna be our actual storage room. And as we continue working on the interior of this house, I decided to go ahead and put these walls up really quickly. That way we can get straight into decorating and adding the chests. Alright, I think the best place to start is just by placing down the chests. And all of them are gonna be separated in little dividers. Before we add the chests in each of these dividers, we gotta make sure the room stays lit. So let's add some redstone lamps. And then for even more storage, we can add barrels here. And now I can add the chests. which hopefully, oh yeah, I was gonna say hopefully won't cause too many problems, but placing this many chests in small areas can be problematic. And there we have it. Here's our chests. Not technically all of them for this house, but the majority. So we still have this room to go. Before we continue over here, let's finish decorating this area. A very important thing to have is a crafting table that's easily accessible. Then over here on this wall, we can have a shelf. And now I think this room is actually done. And I can't wait to really move in here and start using this as my actual storage system. Though it's obvious that we still have more rooms to make. So since we have this room done, and we're not gonna be working on the upstairs this episode, that means this is the last room we have to do. So I think we should get straight on into it by first adding the floor. With the floor in place, we can add some walls. Simple enough. Next we can add a cool rug. Simple enough. Next I have to add the ceiling, which is gonna be at this level, so I need to redesign this roof a little bit. And then lastly, you guessed it, some chests. And thus concludes the building phase. Because now that this room is all done, this room is all done, and this room is all done, I'm done building for this episode. But unfortunately, that means that we have to actually put stuff in all of these chests now. I'm sure that won't take forever, right? So before I spend hours digging through chests and organizing all my stuff, let's hop into our old house. And I have this map over here. I want to see what it looks like with our new house on it now. Then all the house should be on this one map. Oh my goodness. That looks so chaotic but cool at the same time. It kind of gives you an idea of how big this house actually is. But now I've got to start moving things. And now finally, after all that time building this house and a few hours spent putting stuff away, all my items are finally moved in. Now I probably couldn't tell you exactly where everything is yet. Like I know sand is in here and mob heads are in this one, but I couldn't tell you exactly what's in all of these, and a lot of this organization doesn't even make sense. But I'll get used to it, and it's gonna be a whole lot nicer having all this room. And having everything sorted away means that we can start working on much bigger projects. I forgot about these.
Bruh.
I'll worry about sorting these later. I hope you enjoyed getting back into building again. After a few episodes of mainly doing challenges, I plan to do both, so hopefully you'll stick around and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Goodbye!